Hi, today I'm going to talk about the spray paints that I use and also Posca pens and acrylic pens. Everybody keeps asking me what I use. When I started spray painting years ago, I always liked Cobra. I don't know, I just picked a brand when I googled and I just chose Cobra, and I just liked them. I liked the colours. When I read about them, I just got a good feel for it and I decided I was going to use Cobra. This is the old tin of Cobra and this is the new tin of Cobra because they have changed the formula. There's issues in life with everything. I wouldn't say anything is perfect. We all just get through life using what suits our needs best. I'm the same with like a Hoover, a Dyson Hoover. I could sell you a Dyson Hoover easy because I love it and nobody's going to tell me any different because I've tried other Hoovers and I stick with my Dyson because it suits me and my personality. The hose always bursts, but it doesn't matter. I just like the Dyson for loads of reasons. It's the same with the iPhone. It's maybe not the best phone in the world and there's better cameras than other phones, but I just love the iPhone for similar reasons. It just suits me and my needs. So it's the same with paint, that I've always stuck with Cobra after trying other brands, and I've stuck with them because I just had an instinct for them and I just liked them. What I've noticed with Posca pens and acrylic pens and spray paints, colours do different things. I was thinking with the Poscas it had to be something to do with the pigments and how the pigments react for the different colours. I'm no scientist or chemist or whatever's involved in the making of these things, and Poscas are Japanese, so you know, you would think they would be the best because everybody likes Japanese guitars. Well, maybe not everybody, but you know what I mean, they get a good reputation for build and quality with anything, cars, etc. But then again, so does America. I don't know if Britain does so much now because I don't think they make much here, but anyway, I don't really know. So there is issues with colours, I find, just in the way that they react, the way they work. Some colours are just amazing and some colours are just like, okay, doesn't work so well. But I'm still going to stick with my Cobras because I do like them. As I say, I've tried other ones. You would have to just experiment. What I've done is I've just experimented. Now I've got these new ones. I'm just experimenting with all the different colours just to see how they react. I got these from Al Fresco. I used to buy my paint from Graph City. Now there's nothing wrong with Graph City. It's a good company. I used to buy my paint from there and I got my paint delivered in about 4 or 5 days. I don't remember them ever giving me any free tins of paint. They gave me some free stickers and I think I got a couple of caps, but that's about it. And delivery used to take a few days, which I didn't really like, but the point, it was free though, but the point is they were still a good company to deal with. But yesterday or the day before I went online and I found Al Fresco, and when my stuff arrived yesterday, it was nice to get a couple of stickers, 2 free tins of paint, 34 free caps, although I've still not figured out what all the caps do, and to be honest I don't notice much of a difference. I think if you're a big graffiti artist you might know that, but on a big wall you've got more space to spray in. You know, you're painting big murals and stuff like that, you know, and you've got a lot more space, but I'm just painting on a wee guitar, so there's not a lot of space, so I don't think some of these caps will do me any good. But yeah, Al Fresco sent me a few freebies because obviously I'd spent a certain amount, and a wee bar of chocolate, you know, and that wee bar of chocolate was much appreciated because I just come home from work and I couldn't be bothered going to the shops, and I'm a chocoholic, and I thought I wish I had a bar of chocolate, and there it was a wee Freddo bar. So thank you, Al Fresco. I did enjoy it. Well, I did enjoy it, and I'm going to continue to buy my paint from there, and I'm going to continue to buy Cobra just because I like them. All paints have got issues. Get some really nice colours. I really like the colours. Haven't tried them all yet. This one is Montana. Now you get 2 different types of Montana, I've been told. I'm not 100% sure the ins and outs of Montana paint. I know you get Montana Gold, it's slightly more expensive. and I'm buying something on a budget here that I can afford to buy. I don't think I would go to buying more expensive paint when I'm happy enough with what I've got. I love the tin. This is just amazing. It looks amazing aesthetically. It does say it dries quick, but it doesn't dry quick. Not for me, not quick enough for me. I want my guitars to be dry pretty quick, or touch dry pretty quick. This took a long time, but I did like the smell on this, and I don't smell paints, I don't breathe them in, but obviously there's a smell of them. This was very evocative of when I was young. It reminded me of the paint we used to put on the sheds or the gates or something like that. I've got a chemical intolerance. I can't stand smells, and I can't stand aftershaves or anything like that. Although I do like some. It's just certain brands, you smell it, and whatever chemical they put in it, it just gives me a headache. I recoil in horror, actually. If my daughter Jessica wears even a perfume, all of a sudden I'll be like, oh God, just take that out of my way. I just cannot stand the smell of it. Whereas sometimes you can just smell something and it's nice. So it's definitely, I've got an intolerance to certain chemicals, but I don't buy perfume, I don't buy lighted candles for that reason. You know, a really cheap date because I don't want diamonds, I don't want perfume. All I want is a wee bar of chocolate, and maybe just to get driven home or something like that. I don't drink alcohol, so I'm quite good. Oh, and I don't want to go for fancy meals either, so there you go. Tin of spray paint and I'm happy. So for this reason I don't use this one, but I'll tell you something, it's one of the best cans I've seen, and I just love it. And I know Cobra's got a sort of a range out where it's like graffiti on the cans, or it's artwork on the cans, and it's slightly dearer at £10. I wouldn't buy it because it's out of my budget, but I would love to have a row of those cans sitting on the wall. I also buy a bottle of red wine, 19 Crimes, because it's just because I like the artwork on the front. It's like criminals on the front. I don't know, there's something very appealing about it. I don't drink, but I'll just buy it just to stare at it. That's just stupid wee things that I do. So anyway, they also asked me about varnish and stuff like that. This is polyurethane from the paint factory, which I have not been able to get this in years. It suited my budget, and it worked. It was pretty cool. But I don't know, they've stopped making it. They do, paint factory do a lot of colours, but they don't do this yellow can. They might have started bits, the last time I looked they hadn't done it. They do a red one, which is just a plain varnish. Don't get me wrong, the plain varnish was tough and durable, but unless I was buying poly, I wasn't going to risk it on a guitar. So I stopped using it, and I just stopped using the yellow. I've just got a little drop left. This is Cobra, the old type. I don't know if they've changed the formula on this. This is a transparent gloss, and it's acrylic, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Most of these clear coats are good enough, you know, they work. Someone had said, how do you get a glossy shine? All you have to do is buy a gloss. You don't need anything fancy. As I say, everything's down to your ability to spray, and finishing a guitar isn't what I would say, it's a job in itself. I've managed to do it to a good enough quality, as people who've bought my guitars will attest to, but I don't want to waste too much time in that, because it takes long enough painting and everything that I've got to do without having to worry about that. So that's the spray paints. Okay, I've got the Poscas here. Now, Posca pens, they all look like Poscas, but these two aren't Posca. They're just a different brand. I just go on the internet and maybe just buy any brands, and I've had loads of brands throughout the years. I used to have a great big bag full of pens, but you know, they all do different things. Posca's probably like the iPhone and the Dyson. To me, it's just, I don't know, I stick with it, but I don't love it. It's got its problems, it's got its issues, simply because someone had said to me about acrylic paint, but acrylic paint, as I say, just to build up a depth of colour on it, you've got to go over it and over it and over it. It's the same with brushed acrylic, it's the same with anything. And the way some of the paint comes out of these is just, some of the colours is just not great. These are good for certain things, and these are good for certain things. So I just have a couple of different types for doing different things. It's something, again, you have to experiment with, because I can't possibly tell you. I could say to you, oh, don't do that, but you'll say, oh, I like doing that. So it's just a preference thing. And the best way to work it out is to experiment. I mean, that's what I've done. I've never asked anybody or, you know, been to art school or anything like that. I'm a natural born experimenter. I want to feel it. I want to do it. I want to try it out. I want to know what it's like to fail. I want to make mistakes and learn from them. Although 9 out of 10 times I don't actually learn because I just make the same mistake again. But that's just the way I'm wired. But hopefully other people will learn. This is the caps. So, as I say, I'm happy enough with the caps on the spray cans. I don't need to change them over. And I've never, for me personally, never found anything that works brilliantly on a guitar that I would enjoy. I mean, obviously you can get, what do you call it, the wee gun? Oh, I can't remember what you call it. Trying to think too hard. Anyway, the wee gun, you put the paint in it and an airbrush, an airbrush, right? So you can do that and you'll get really fine details and stuff like that. I'm not too worried about that. If you're worried about being perfect, then you'll do that. But me, I don't really care. I don't care about making a mess. I use the mess as part of the artwork. That's the kind of artist I am. I enjoy doing that. I see a mess as a piece of art, and that's why I can pull that off, whereas some people might not be able to see artwork in that mess. They might just have to have it perfect, and I understand what it feels like to want it to be perfect. All my life I've done my own DIY, and I always wanted to be a joiner, taking woodwork in school, and I can do things competently, but it's not perfect. But it doesn't matter. When I used to do my dovetail joints at school, you know, they weren't perfect. There was a wee hole in them, or there was wee gaps. But my woodwork teacher would say, just mix the sawdust up with a bit of glue and just fill in the wee gaps, you know. And it's the same if I'm doing, oops, kind of paint fell. It's the same if I'm doing any paintwork in the house. If there's a wee gap, I'll just get caulk, painter's caulk, and just fill up the wee hole. I mean, what's the worry about it? It's the same with wallpaper. If I put up wallpaper, you know, and I cut a wee bit funny, then I'll just patch it up. So, but that's me. But if you come into my house, you wouldn't notice these things. That's why perfection's hard to achieve. If you're a perfectionist and you go about nitpicking about everything, it will make you so anxious, and you'll just worry and you'll just feel awful. Because I know what it's like to feel awful about these things. I've experienced these emotions. But I decided that just let them go and just be free to make a mess, and you'll enjoy your life a lot better. Anyway, I hope my ramblings have helped in some way. So I'm off out to experiment and see what else I can get up to, and just learn, and that's it. But Cobra, for me, definitely. Posca comes out better than the rest. I'll stick with it. But use other things, and I might use some other spray paints as well. There's one that I was sent for free called Look. I tried that. I've tried it a couple of times, but yeah, I think it's okay. I don't have a problem with it. I've yet to try other paints, but in the meantime, I'm sticking with what's on the market, what's within my price range, and what works. Okay, bye.